Here's an example of an orchid that has been in this same container for probably about 10 years in the greenhouse. It really should have been divided 2 or 3 times in that period of time, but since it was not, we will try to show you what you would do to get that back in better shape. First of all, I'll take away all of the dead leaves and some of the rhizomes that are not in very good shape, but it's almost impossible to get out of this container. So what I'll do is actually break the pot. So we break up the pot in order to get it out of the container. And then once that is done, then we can start fooling with the plant itself, with the roots and the rhizomes. All right. Now, there are a lot of roots in here. And what we need to do is to separate those and try to divide this. And by the way, division is a little different from separation. Separation, as we did with bulbs, is actually just pulling them apart. These actually have to be cut. So division is where you actually take a knife and make some cuts in strategic locations. So we will take the knife and cut some of these rhizomes or these back bulbs or pseudo-bulbs back apart. And as I say, the terminology gets a little confusing on these, but basically we're working with stem structures. And we'll pull some of that apart after we make some cuts. You can see that is very, very, very tight in there, and it has needed to be separated or divided up in order to invigorate the plant so that we can maintain good flowering as well. Okay, so here we've got this much on here, and that still is a little more than we want, but some of these are not good, so they need to be cut out. So I will take a clipper and cut some of those away. The ones that are brown are not going to produce anything. They need to be just removed. So we cut those out, and here's another one. And yet another. Now we're getting down to a little bit more manageable size of plant. Here's one that could just be pulled out completely. Now, as we remove these, it opens up this whole plant structure, and it looks a lot better in terms of having exposed roots. The stems are more further apart and able to take advantage of the medium in which it's planted and so forth. We can dip it into a Clorox solution, a 10% Clorox solution, and that will help to prevent fungal diseases with that. And then this, as it is, or maybe even dividing one more time. I think I might take one more off of there. Okay. This is a good size to replant into a loose mixture of either pine bark or some other type of fir bark that would be used for the orchid, and then grown on and fertilized, of course, to invigorate it as well. This probably could be divided into 2 as well. So as you see from this plant that we had, one plant, we'll probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll probably get about 8 plants off of it, or maybe more, maybe 10. And they'll each be about this size. And then perhaps in a year or 2, we'll be able to have some really nice flowering on these orchids.